The Reckoning, when Terra answered. The Nexarian hegemony had ruled for millennia. Their empire stretched across 800 star systems, built on a simple principle: strength commanded, weakness obeyed. No species had challenged them in living memory. Commander Vex Thalan stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching a new star system appear on tactical displays. Intelligence reported a young species here, Terrans, barely 50 years into interstellar travel. Their ships were primitive, their weapons laughable by Nexarian standards. Send the standard terms: tribute or annihilation. The human response came within hours. It was a single word: neither. Vex felt his secondary hearts quicken with anticipation. After centuries of easy conquests, finally something interesting. He dispatched a punitive fleet, 100 warships, to their outer colony designated Haven's Rest. The attack was methodical. 3 million Terrans died in 4 hours. Vex recorded everything, broadcasting it across the galaxy as he always did. Let all species see what defiance cost. Then he waited for the inevitable surrender. It never came. Instead, Terra went silent. All communication ceased. No distress calls, no pleas for mercy, no desperate negotiations. Just profound, unsettling silence. "What are they doing?" Vex's second-in-command asked. "Dying quietly, or preparing to die loudly. Either way, we proceed." Over 6 months, the Nexarian fleet systematically destroyed 14 Terran colonies. Each time, Terran defense forces fought with suicidal determination. Each time, they lost. Millions died. The galaxy watched in familiar silence. This was how things worked. The strong punished the weak. It was sad, but it was normal. Finally, Vex's fleet arrived at Terra itself, a blue-green world of surprising beauty. He sent surrender terms. Terra asked for 1 hour to discuss. That hour became 2, then 6, then silence again. Frustrated, Vex ordered bombardment. For 3 days, his fleet rained fire on Terra's surface. Cities became craters, forests became ash. By conservative estimates, 60 million Terrans died. "It is finished," Vex reported to the hegemony. "Terra is broken." But something was wrong. 3 days after the bombardment, sensors detected ships rising from Terra, not from the surface, but from beneath it, from underground complexes that had been invisible to orbital scans. Hundreds of ships at first, then thousands. These were not the crude vessels Vex had been destroying. These were something else entirely. "What am I looking at?" demanded Vex. "Unknown ship classes," his tactical officer replied. "Unknown energy signatures. They're emerging from everywhere. Underground facilities, hollow asteroids in orbit, installations built inside moons. Commander, we completely missed them." "How many?" "Still counting. Over 4,000 vessels and rising." Vex felt something he hadn't experienced in 2 centuries of warfare: uncertainty. A transmission came through. A human woman appeared on screen, dark-skinned, gray-haired, eyes empty of everything except cold purpose. "I am Fleet Marshal Amara Okonkwo," she said. "For 6 months you have killed our people. You bombarded our world. You murdered 60 million souls." Her voice never wavered. "We let you. We hid while you struck. We prepared while you celebrated. We built what we needed to answer you." "You cannot win," Vex replied. "I command 100 warships. Each is—" "You commanded 100 warships," Okonkwo corrected. "Now you command target practice." The Terran fleet attacked. What happened next defied Vex's understanding of warfare. The first Nexarian destroyer, the Eternal Dominance, veteran of 40 campaigns, was simply erased. A white beam struck it and the ship ceased to exist. Not destroyed, not broken apart, gone, as though it had never been there. "What weapon is that?" Vex shouted. No one could answer. More beams fired,
More ships vanished. The Nexarians returned fire with everything they had. Their plasma cannons struck Terran shields and simply stopped, absorbed by barriers that shouldn't have existed. Their shields are holding against direct hits. The power requirements for that are impossible. Yet they're doing it, Vex whispered. In the first hour, the Nexarians lost 27 ships. They destroyed 2 Terran vessels. We must retreat, Vex's second-in-command urged. Vex had never retreated. In 200 years of service, the concept was theoretical. But he was watching his fleet disintegrate against an enemy that hadn't existed 6 months ago. Sound retreat. The order went out, but the Terran fleet had anticipated it. Ships blocked every escape route. Jump coordinates were jammed. One by one, fleeing vessels were hunted down and eliminated. When it ended, only 8 Nexarian ships remained, disabled, surrounded, helpless. Okonkwo's face appeared again. Commander Vex Thalin, you will surrender to me personally. Lower your shields and prepare for boarding. Vex looked around his bridge. His crew waited for orders that he couldn't give. The Nexarian hegemony did not surrender. It was unthinkable. And yet we must, he said quietly. We surrender.
The news hit the galaxy like a shockwave. The Nexarians, undefeated for 3,000 years, had capitulated to a species barely out of its stellar cradle. On the Kelfani homeworld, Ambassador Cirrus watched the reports with growing dread. The Kelfani had paid tribute to the hegemony for 8 centuries. "How did they do it?" her aide asked. "That's the wrong question," Cirrus replied. "The question is, what will they do next?" The answer came 3 days later. Fleet Marshal Okonkwo addressed the Galactic Assembly directly. "For 6 months, we suffered. We died. We lost everything we held dear. We did this to buy time. Time to prepare, to build, to become what we needed to be." Her image was broadcast to every civilized world. "Now our preparation is complete. Now we stop hiding." Behind her, the Terran fleet was visible, thousands of dark ships arranged in perfect formation. Today begins our answer. Today, the galaxy learns what Terra truly is. Today begins our reckoning. The Terran fleet moved, not toward Terra, but toward the Nexarian hegemony itself. The campaign that followed rewrote military history. Terra didn't seek to occupy territory or establish colonies. They simply dismantled the Nexarian war machine piece by piece. Shipyards were destroyed, fleet bases obliterated, command centers reduced to rubble. In 3 weeks, Terra eliminated half the Nexarian military while suffering minimal losses. The Nexarian Council scrambled to respond. They had hundreds more ships, millions more soldiers, but nothing in their experience had prepared them for an enemy whose technology operated on completely different principles. "How did they advance so quickly?" a Nexarian scientist asked, studying wreckage from destroyed Terran ships. "We've had 3 millennia to develop our weapons. They've had 6 months. "Because," another scientist replied, staring at data that made no sense, "they weren't just building weapons. They were rebuilding physics itself." Terran weapons ignored shields. Their drives bent space-time in ways that allowed instant repositioning. Their AI could hack into any networked system and take control. Every advantage the hegemony had relied on was neutralized. Desperately, the Nexarian Council elected a new Supreme Coordinator, Farah Vax, who had argued against attacking Terra from the beginning. "We must negotiate," she told the Council. "Every day we continue, we lose more ships we cannot replace." She sent a message to Fleet Marshal Okonkwo offering peace, reparations, anything Terra wanted. Okonkwo's response was clinical. "We want 4 things. First, your war criminals will stand trial. Second, your military will be disbanded. Third, you will compensate every species you have oppressed. Fourth, you will acknowledge what you did, publicly, completely, without excuse." "These terms would destroy us," Thera protested. "You destroyed 60 million of us," Okonkwo replied. These terms let you survive. Choose quickly. The Nexarian Council debated frantically, accept and lose everything they had been, refuse and face annihilation. Finally, Terra made the decision that broke her heart. We accept. The formal surrender was broadcast across the galaxy. The Nexarian hegemony, ancient, powerful, seemingly eternal, had fallen. But Terra's actions afterwards surprised everyone more than their victory. They didn't occupy Nexarian worlds. They didn't demand territory. They established a tribunal for war crimes, then began rebuilding damaged infrastructure, not just Terran, but Nexarian civilian centers too. Why help us? A Nexarian engineer asked a Terran construction team working on a power station. The Terran supervisor, a woman named Maria Santos, looked at the ruins around them. Because destroying your military was necessary. Destroying your people isn't. We fought so we could live, not so you would die. Word spread. Terra had defeated the greatest empire in the galaxy, then chosen not to become the next empire. 5 years passed. The galaxy was different now. The old order of might makes right had collapsed. Smaller species found their voices. Trade became fairer. Wars decreased. Fleet Marshal Okonkwo retired, returning to Terra. She stood on a balcony in New Beijing, watching the rebuilt city sparkle in the evening light. "You look troubled," a voice said. Dr. Kenji Tanaka, the physicist whose breakthroughs had made the new weapons possible, joined her. "I'm thinking about what we became," Okonkwo replied. "We built weapons that could erase ships from existence. We killed hundreds of thousands. Was it necessary? They gave us no choice. I know. But now the galaxy fears us. They call us heroes, but their eyes hold terror. Fear isn't always bad. It's kept the peace for 5 years. And when fear fades, when some new species looks at us and thinks they can win where the Nexarians failed, then we'll face that challenge when it comes." They stood in silence, watching the city. 60 million had died to build this peace. The question remained, would it last? The answer came from an unexpected source. A year later, at the Galactic Assembly, Ambassador Chen Zhao stood to address the gathered species. "For 5 years, you have feared us. You've seen our weapons, our fleet, our capability of destruction, and you're right to be cautious. But I ask you to stop looking at us as conquerors in waiting. We're not. We fought because we had to. We built weapons because we had no choice. We won because losing meant extinction." He looked around the chamber. "Terra has no desire to rule you. We want partnership, not dominance. We want to ensure what happened to us never happens to anyone again. Help us build a galaxy where the strong don't crush the weak, where peace is normal, not rare, where species solve problems through dialogue, not destruction." Slowly, tentatively, species began responding. The Kalfani offered to share medical technology. The Rithian Collective proposed joint exploration missions. The Tall Mora suggested cultural exchange programs. It wasn't immediate trust, but it was a beginning. On Terra, in a school outside New Beijing, children learned about the war. They learned about the 60 million who died. They learned about the ships that rose from hiding. They learned about the terrible price of victory. But they also learned this: violence should be a last resort. Build bridges when possible. Seek understanding over conflict. Protect the innocent. Preserve life. And when someone threatens your home, your people, your right to exist, then fight with everything you have. Become whatever you must to survive, because the alternative is extinction. This was Terra's legacy. This was the lesson taught in fire and blood and silent preparation. A young girl named Amara, named after the fleet marshal who had led them through darkness, looked up at her teacher. "Will there be another war?" she asked. The teacher smiled sadly. "Maybe, maybe not. But if there is, Terra will be ready. We're always ready now. That's what it means to survive." In orbit, the Terran Defense Fleet maintained its watch.
Ships patrolled, sensors swept constantly. Underground facilities remained active, ready to produce more vessels if needed. Terra had learned its lesson well. Strength wasn't just about weapons. It was about being prepared, about never being caught defenseless, about ensuring that anyone who looked at your world knew the cost of attacking it. And the galaxy, watching this small blue world orbit its yellow star, understood. Terra was not a threat to the peaceful, but to the aggressive, to the conquerors, to the would-be tyrants. Terra was something else entirely. Terra was the line that could not be crossed, the price that could not be paid, the reckoning that could not be avoided. And in the silence of space, other civilizations, some not yet known, some still watching from the shadows, made their calculations. Was it worth the risk? Was any conquest worth facing what Terra had become? Most decided it was not. And so, from the ashes of 60 million dead, from 6 months of silence and preparation, from the terrible transformation of a peaceful species into something dangerous, came an unexpected gift. Peace, earned not through submission, but through strength, maintained not through terror, but through respect. Terra did not ask for this burden, but having taken it up, they would carry it forward, ready for whatever came next. Because that's what survival meant. That's what it cost to protect home. And Terra would pay that cost gladly, every day, forever if necessary. The reckoning was complete. The lesson was taught. And the galaxy would never forget.